Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts,
Archlector George,
and Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
During this most recent batch of episodes, we've been doing special episodes with guest spots. And for this final episode, we'll be talking to two of the OG guests, Will, aka Serspaceman from the Houseofthemememaker subreddit, and Stephanie, aka Serpent of Talins, who's a Redditor as well.
An individual. So let's get started. First and foremost, I want to make it clear to everybody that we did initially record this with Bloody Niner on as well, and Tamo Boron too, a couple weeks ago, actually before Christmas. A certain somebody forgot to save the recording, so I will let him take his flogging now. George, feel free.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shame!
Sorry, I forgot.
Shame him!
Shame!
Listen, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. It was just a Dynamite episode, you know.
It was so good.
It's too bad we're never gonna match that energy again.
Yep.
It was like a unicorn in a forest.
This is
But it's
definitely
okay.
It's gonna be a sham. It's gonna be a sham of an episode.
Yeah, this is a shadow of our potential.
Oh, good lord.
We're little podcasters and a little time.
I guess we shamed George enough, right? Okay. So, as usual, thanking everybody for, your support. You guys are real cool, great fans. Yay, all that. Social media, YouTube's, goddammit, please just fucking join us and follow us.
I apologize for Jeffrey's craft today.
I haven't slept. So, George, you had ideas. What's the structure going to be like?
Well, I think it would be good if we can continue on with our popular opinion / tinfoil theory. We had a couple of really good ones from that last time, so we'll try and salvage those.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go first off with. We'll start off with Will. Will, why don't you tell us unpopular or controversial opinion that you hold in regards to the First Law universe?
Okay. Last time, it's such a shame. Such a shame that's gone. But no one can hear that. So last time I had brought up how I wasn't a fan of Wisdom of Crowds. I don't think it's a bad book. I still appreciate it, but I didn't think it did what it was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's really good. I feel like when whatever comes out next, and I say when, I mean, it's not fully confirmed that we're going to get more First Law, but I have a feeling we're gonna. I feel like when whatever comes out next comes out, I will look back on Wisdom of Crowds with a better hindsight. But right now, it left a pretty bad taste in my mouth.
I have to concur.
I mean, people always talk about Last Argument of Kings as having that sort of bitter ending that you're not really expecting at the time. And I think Wisdom of Crowds does that for even more so.
Yeah. You know what, though? I think if you read Last Argument of Kings, like I read the first 3 books, and then I was like, okay, that was really good. And I could have stopped right there. Like, if there were no standalones, I would have been like, that was great. And I would just be all set. But I'm so glad the standalones exist. And now that we've got Wisdom of Crowds, I was kind of left like, wait, that's it? Like, what about everything else? Like, there was so much left. And that's going to bring me to my little crackpot theory right now, is that Baez just straight up can't use high art anymore. I think he just can't use it.
Interesting.
I mean, we don't see him do anything in Age of Empires.
We haven't seen him use it since Last Argument of Kings, and I don't know. I don't know what like, we don't really see him much in the standalones. Like, we don't see him at all in Best Served Cold. We see him just a little bit in the Heroes. Oh yeah, he's actually in the Heroes a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
He makes Calder shit himself.
He does, but completely just by the virtue of existing. Like,
fucking flood, deep and shallow of all people.
I know. I wonder where they are.
He didn't force choke Calder in the Heroes, or was that
No.
only
No, literally they just dig into the grave, don't they?
He just ate dinner.
Just
in front of him.
that's
Yeah.
his high art now.
He was just eating meat. I bet it was human meat.
Yeah, you're on
Well,
it. You're on it.
That had to be, right?
That's a
If-
fun one.
That's a
Yeah.
good one. But let me pick that a little bit. If Baez say he can't use high art anymore, right? Maybe the seed rendered him impotent with no, Anyway, what can it? Do you still need to be able to use high art to make the room feel like oppressive? You know, when people say that when they're around Baez and he gets upset, that it's hard for them to breathe and everything just feels like it's constricting in on of itself. That still happens in the standalones, if I'm not mistaken. And I think,
Yes,
in,
it does happen in Age of Madness as well.
so
I wonder how much art that takes to do. Like if he's actually doing something, or if people just genuinely they know what he is. Like I think the two people that would know best are Savine and Orso, right? Like they're both told. Like Giselle tells Orso, he's like, don't like be very fucking careful of Baez. And then the same thing, Glockta like grabs Savine at some point, right? And after she sees him at something, and she's like, "Oh, I talked to Baez," and Glockta's like, "Don't ever fucking talk to that guy ever again." Like I feel like once you have an idea of who he is and what he can do, I feel like every time he walks into a room, you're fucking terrified of him.
But I think that's kind of the point, is that that's enough. I mean, we know that he doesn't like to use it that much. It exhausts him. It takes all his energy. And I always kind of got the sense that he doesn't need to use it because he has this presence. And yeah, everybody like is afraid of him. He doesn't need to blow everything up in order to continue that. And that's what makes him so scary, is that you know at any moment he could, and you're just waiting for that to happen again.
And that's kind of what not pissed me off, but I felt like this whole looming, like during the what do you call it, the new trilogy, what the hell do we call that trilogy, the second
Age of Madness.
Age of Madness. Thank you. I'm fucking lost, man.
I thought you were saying during the big adjustment.
I just had a fucking stroke. So during Age of Madness, the whole time, like every time you see Baez, you're like, oh my god, what's he gonna do? Like the whole time they're fucking around during Wisdom of Crowds, like anything they're like, even Battle of Staffenbeck, like at the end, No Trouble with Peace, like the whole time I was like, God, he's gonna find out about this. He's gonna fucking show up and he's gonna destroy. Like I felt like he was gonna walk into any of those stupid kangaroo court hearings. Like the what did they call it in the French Revolution? Like the tribunal, or like they renamed it like every week. It was like the assembly, the tribunal, I forget what they called it. And I felt like Baez was going to show up one day and just rip the place to shreds. Like I was like, he's just going to fucking nuke these people, and then we're going to be back to square one. Like they're going to have to rebuild the Agrion all over again. And but that it never happens. It never happens, and we get this like. The closest we get is like the teaser that Rika sees with Hildy and Shitmouth, and then whatever is coming out of the water.
I think that I think that there is so there's a moment inside of Age of Madness. I think it's one of the better scenes, especially with Rika. But they're up on the heroes,
yes,
you know, and Baez is up there, and she basically, whenever I was rereading it more recently, you know, it basically points out why Baez made the decisions he does inside the Age of Madness, which is she's like, you don't want to show power. You don't think it's actually useful at this point. You don't want to waste the energy. You think that you can do it without even having to lift a finger. You take pride in that. And combined with, Baez is very powerful, but he is, he's still human in his, attitude and nature and personality. So he absolutely is a prideful son of a bitch. And in my mind, whenever he's only using his will, which doesn't really take any energy out of him, just like how Yulway could turn invisible and take no energy out of him. I feel like, in his mind, he thought he could still save it, and he did not realize to what degree he got uprooted. And if he came in there and like killed everybody, then everybody would know it's him. And you can say everybody in the Union now knows it's Baez, but they don't really know, they don't understand.
No.
Not on the whole.
And the other thing is that the Valentin Balk chapter, the what do they call that? The House of Banking, the bank branch,
The banking
the
Oh my
actual
God,
branch.
hell
Yeah.
involved. Hey, we might
It's-
actually win the trivia segment, guys.
Yeah. That's what I get, dude. Once the snow hits, I lose all sense of time and space. So the branch in Adjua had nothing in it, right? They cannon open the safe and there's nothing in it. Like I feel like for people that know that, like obviously Pike knows that Baez runs the bank, but I don't even know that Savine and Leo necessarily know that he runs the bank, right? Glockta obviously is going to tell her or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
but for the average like inquisitor or like soldier that was there during the Great Change trying to break open the banking house, like they don't know that Baez runs the bank,
Right.
Right.
and he's got branches all over the place. Like the branch of Westport, I would guess, didn't suffer, like because the Great Change didn't happen in Westport, and like he's got banking houses probably in
Talins.
Does he have one in Talents?
I mean, I can't imagine he won it. Well, he couldn't now with Monza.
I wonder now.
Sorry, never mind.
I
I was
wonder
thinking
now.
with Orso.
I know he's probably got a branch in Stark Land, probably one in the near country. Probably has one somewhere in Gurkle. Can't put it past.
At this point, maybe, yeah. And it might be.
Right?
And you know what? It could be called something different, right? Like they could franchise it out, and no one would know that it was his, right?
And knowing Baez,
franchise it out. Like fucking Chick-fil-A owner.
Exactly. But you can rebrand it, like you just don't know. There's a couple restaurants in Massachusetts that are owned by like the same people, but they have 3 different names, and you'd never know that they were part of a franchise.
Baez probably has like a hut made out of thatch and straw on the island of Thond.
Dude, yeah, dude.
Trading in fucking leaves and shit.
Yeah, I don't even know what happens in distant Thond. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Women with swords doing magic.
Javert. Okay, so you think Baez can't use no high art no more?
No, I don't.
And
you know what? He has a very different appearance in the Age of Madness as opposed to the First Law, right? The First Law, he's definitely got the wizard vibe. Like he's walking around in like a tunic and like he's carrying his staff and he's like, oh, I'm just an old man. But in the Age of Madness, like he's got drip. Like he walks in, he's wearing like fine purple like robes. He looks like a lord, right? Like and people are like, well, what's he the lord of? Like they have no fucking clue why he's so cold. He's so drippy, iced out.
God, I love him.
Head to toe. He's got swagger. Yeah, he's got swag. Library. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Stephanie, real quick. Not real quick, but give us a controversial opinion or unpopular opinion.
Yeah. I'm torn between using mine from the last recording and Tam Boers because his was so obscene. I think we've talked enough about Wisdom of Crowds. My unpopular opinion from the last time was that the ending of Wisdom of Crowds is a rehash of the ending of Last Argument of Kings, and it's not executed as well. But which we can talk about a little if you guys want to. But Tam Boers, and this is not my opinion at all. I disagree.
He's trying to say it's too late.
Flame him.
I don't like this, but I think we need to talk about it. Was that he didn't like Shivers? That was his wording, right?
Well, he liked him, but just not as much as everybody else.
Or
he's just not. He's not that big mainstay character that everyone is.
He said he wasn't as good as a character as everyone thought he was. That's what it was.
Yeah, and that is wrong. Sorry, Tam.
Damn, Tammy.
And he's not here to defend himself, but
let's shit on him.
Yeah, let's rip him to shreds. Throw him to the wolves.
But
fucking
Pikey.
And no, I'm trying to. Does anybody remember what his reasonings were?
Yes,
I think I remember.
I agreed with
go ahead. I don't.
I know you guys are too traumatized. Like my boy Shivers. Oh,
I didn't fight him very hard in the last recording, so now we get the chance to I can just straw man the shit out of him.
Who remembers? Harrison, you do?
Yeah, I kind of remember the gist of it, and the main thing that Tyke said was, he feels like he's not really connected. You never really feel connected to Shivers. Like it goes from being like some guy who you hardly remember in Last Argument of Kings who is around to then being inside of Best Served Cold, where he's kind of seen as like, people talk about Broad being like the Bloody Nine, but then Shivers does like the exact same. I just want to be a better man, but then just doesn't do it over and over again. And he said like maybe it would help, but like he liked him most in Age of Madness, and he probably would have liked him significantly more if he had a POV in Age of Madness. But he feels like, yeah, he's there, and he's definitely, compared to a lot of characters in other series, of course, he's still exceptional, but like he doesn't really have much meat there. He seems very shallow. Like he always has like one thing that he's doing, and he doesn't hardly do anything after Best Served Cold other than walk around looking menacing.
Which is true, but I feel like Shivers, first of all, only had one book to develop, where up until now, all these other characters have had an entire trilogy. So yeah, his story is going to be not quite as fleshed out, but I do feel like he's such a typical Joe Abercrombie character. It's hard to, it's hard to believe that somebody wouldn't like him, because he's this character that Joe's plucked out of obscurity. He starts off, I'm going to be truly wanting to be a better man, and then going through this trauma, which, yes, doesn't have as much time to develop as it did for characters in previous books, but watching him want so badly to be a better person, and watching Mansa just drag him down with her and then succeed on her own, like literally her success is based on what she did to Shivers. That's such a typical Joe Abercrombie plotline. Like, it was, for me, it was a joy. I love Shivers, but like it was such a joy in that way that we all love reading Joe. So I thought he was great.
Interesting.
I do get where Tiger's coming from with that. Like, the people do seem to just take Shivers and be like, "Oh no, Shivers is the best character," but Shivers is like the most hard done by person, even though he makes all those decisions himself.
Yeah, I will say too, like, people on the whole, if there is reoccurring characters, people get attached to them. I mean, look at Forrest. I mean, Forrest is like, he pops up over and over again here and there at random points in the story throughout the entire series, but really we don't get that much time with him, and he doesn't, other than his POV inside of Trouble with Peace, like, we don't really get that much out of him. But like, his death is like, oh, this is it's also Joe's writing. But my point is like, I think Shivers is more popular just for being so consistently there than he is for his actual character. Like, because you say that, but then Mansa's only in one book, and look how impactful she is.
But we don't have there's not the same like fanaticism around someone like, say, Gorst, for example. Like, he's recurring. He shows up and he gets a book where he is,
because Gorst sucks. It's the fucking worst.
He's definitely not a good guy. But I do think, like, the reoccurring character, but like, yes, it does. Like, people do have a stronger connection to characters like that, but I don't think that alone is the reason. I really think it's because we know that at heart, like, the Shivers we know, like, really wanted to be a good guy, and then all these things happened to him, and yes, he made a lot of those decisions, but not in a void either. And so, like, we know, Shivers had that potential to be a good man, and so we still kind of love him for that.
I will say too, at the end of the journey, like, I agree with Tiger as well. Like, Age of Madness, I think knowing his whole story from that point on, even if we're not in his head for several books, like, seeing how he develops is really awesome, because, well, it's actually a positive character arc overall, and Joe never does that. And it does create for a very good story by the Age of Madness, I think. I do think I agree with Tig that in a lot of the books, he is very one note, like in the Heroes, and I know it's supposed to be his grunge fest, but like in the Heroes, he literally doesn't do anything other than kill Black Dow, and in the Red Country, he doesn't do much.
Prisoner.
Yeah, he stabbed. Yeah, he's intimidating, and yeah, he's in his grunge mode and everything. But like, it's just, you compare it to other people, I can kind of understand it. I think
he is. I'll say this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think just his story was done. Like, yeah, he's there and we see him, fiddling the ring and jumping in at sort of these key moments, but his story was in Best Served Cold. So he wasn't developed beyond that because it was meant to be over. So I can see how people could see that and be like, well, we could have done so much more, but it just wasn't his time. We were focusing on other people. That was their story.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've got to add on to that as well that I love his appearance in Red Country when he just like turns up, intimidates a few guys, and then turns up at the end and it's just like, nah, actually I'm alright.
He went all the way there to do nothing and just come home. Yeah, I'll just say I didn't find you. Go home. I was listening to Best Served Cold today while I was snowblowing, and he's way more reflective than Logan is. Like Logan just like walks through life and just never looks back. Like he's never
he's just a leaf on the water, man.
Yeah, he's never like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Like he's just like, well, that's it. And Shivers, like Monza doesn't give Shivers any credit for like knowing anything, but Monza's about, after they kill Gaba, like Shivers is like, I don't want to keep working, and Monza's about to stab him, and she like doesn't think he knows, and then a little later he like says, he's like, I thought she was going to stab me. So he noticed that. And then he accidentally kills a woman at Cardati's. And when they're walking into Viscerine, when they're going through customs or whatever, he's thinking about it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, my brother always said like nothing lower than killing a woman. Like, yeah. And he's like really pissed at himself for it. But he's like, you know what? When you choose to draw steel in a place, like in a crowded place, like you can't you can't like
get angry about it.
I forget what he says. Yeah. He's like, but he does feel bad about it. Like he feels pretty gross about himself in a way that like Logan.
And he immediately goes and threatens a load of people like 2 seconds
later.
I
know. But Logan never thinks about Rond, and he never thinks about Tull. Even when like people confront him on it, he never thinks about it at all. Like he never sits there and he's like, damn. It's just like he just like we're in his head for it, and he never brings them up ever again. Whereas Shivers is constantly like ruminating on his kind of dumb decisions, and like he knows he's being played too. Like every time Monza lures him back in, he knows he's doing the wrong thing. Whereas Logan's just like, well, I don't know, man. Just
yeah, he'd be like,
leaf on the water.
One thing for Logan Nine Fingers, say he's a sucker for women.
Yeah. Not my fault, bro.
Just a leaf on the water, dog.
Yeah, I do like Shivers, but I do think that like he's a pretty much like nothing character in Before They're Hanged and Last Argument of Kings, and then he is just grungy. I think he gets the most. You find out the most detail about him, about how he's changed in Age of Madness. But yeah, he's definitely not like my favorite character, but I like him.
Yeah, cool. Well, does anybody remember what Josh said was his?
Fuck.
We probably all agreed with it. That's why we don't remember it.
It probably was, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we phone a friend?
We phone Josh.
Let's ask him. I'm gonna add him in the Discord. Like, dude.
What was that thing we talked? What'd you say last time?
We're gonna steal it for this one.
Huh?
Hey, what's your unpopular opinion? Ben, let's see if he sees it. He's probably like hanging out with his kids, you know, like doing like probably not checking Discord, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get him.
We can still talk about my old one if you guys want.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I guess circling back to mine from last time. So I mentioned this earlier, but I felt like the ending to Wisdom of Crowds was just a redo of the ending of Last Argument of Kings, and I was a little disappointed by it because I was expecting a twist, but I wasn't expecting the same twist, and I felt like it wasn't as well executed. I just, and it's been some time since I've read these books, but I do remember reading it and just being like, I felt like there was so much more potential there, and I'm not like I don't like to predict things when I'm reading. I don't like to try to figure out the twists and what they are. So I didn't really think that Glocta was the Weaver because I wasn't just thinking that way. I know a lot of people figured it out. sooner than that, but I just was kind of like, let me let the story take me wherever it's going to take me. And so when I got there and it was just another, man behind the curtain, I just I wasn't as shocked by it. I didn't feel like it had the same impact as the first time around. I just thought the Baez reveal was so good. It was so good, and I remember the moment when I figured it out. And this time around, I didn't get the same impact from it.
Mm.
And I know a lot of people don't feel that way.
Oh, man.
I think a good portion of people feel that way. I think even last time we were talking, I think you said that you didn't like. You also kind of agreed with that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I never said that.
I think
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
It's not that it was a bad ending. It just wasn't. If I weren't comparing it to the ending of Last Argument of Kings, if it existed in its own right, it would have been good. But
So-
you can't help but compare it to what you got before.
Let me ask you this: where's your biggest gripe? Like, where's your biggest area of wasted potential? Like, what do you think should have?
What do
would
I
have been
think should happen instead?
Not even what you think should have happened instead, but what do you think they missed? What do you think was missing?
I just think there was an opportunity to do it a little differently, and maybe I don't have a great answer for that, but I think that I wanted to get the same feeling that I had from the first book of, wow, I really didn't see that coming. That was so unexpected, and it makes so much sense, and really kind of to have all those pieces come together. And maybe because I only read Age of Madness once, where I've reread all of the others, so maybe there was a lot of foreshadowing there that I missed when I was reading it, but I just I felt like I don't know.
I felt like it was hanging more off of like, ooh, bet it's Galacta, like just because it's Galacta rather than it actually being set up correctly. Yeah.
It was
Well,
just like,
I
it
think
was
I have
there
an
to be.
idea of how they could have done that. They could have just gone the full way when they revealed that Zuri is actually Ishri, and her brothers ostensibly are eaters as well. They could have had just Khalul walk out and be like, "So."
That even the Zuri stuff, I didn't like. It's not that I didn't. I don't want to. I wasn't impressed by it. Weird. Like, this is weird, and I don't really know how to describe this. I like it, like the description of what happened. I liked it, but actually reading it, I was like, oh, of course they are.
Yeah,
Like,
It's one of those like you can't not know by all of the clues going back to the entire trilogy. Like, oh yeah, of course she is. Like, what the fuck?
Of course she is.
We also don't really know her that well. Like, I don't know. I didn't really care. Like, I was just like, okay. Like, we knew it. I didn't know it. I think I really found out in Trouble with Peace. Like, when she just shows up with like bandages on or whatever, but she's not hurt. And I'm like, yeah, okay, she's Ishri. Like, who else do we know? And then what's her brother's names? Haroon and
Rabbit, I think.
Rabbit. That's right. Yeah, like you could just, I don't know, where it's just too, yeah. You know what I think they're missing the most that just kind of like feels like a drop plot line is Jappo. Like, I felt like Jappo was going to intervene at some point, and like him and Orso. I just figured a Styrian army was going to pull up on Adua like any day as like a peacekeeping force and just like restore order. And it would be interesting to see how Glokta would respond to that, right? Like, what Galacta's obviously not going to trust them or anything, but at least it's not Baez, right? Like, you could create like an anti-Baez coalition with like Manza, Jappo, Glokta, and maybe the Maguses from the old Empire, like Conneal and Zacharis.
Conneal and Zacharis on the side.
Yeah.
Being crazy.
They could kamikaze that.
I mean, I don't want to get too sidetracked here, but I mean, I think that old Empire stuff, they've been hinting at it ever since Red Country, which is that, the old Empire's coming back, baby!
Yeah, it is. It is. Make the old Empire great again.
Mm-hmm.
Moega.
Also, Baez would not have gone over there to talk with them if he was not worried.
I know. I'm interested. So that's the other thing, is that Glokta, we don't know where Glokta went the whole time. Like, he's just not in Adua, and it's like,
I would love it if he went to Gurgle.
He's just at his lake house. He's just jet skiing and shit. He's having a blast. But I wonder what Baez's trip to the old Empire was like. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall for that. We need a short story of Baez going to the old Empire and meeting this fucking who's the emperor right now? Goltus? No.
No, it was
Scario? No. It's the other guy.
the N, I think. Fuck.
Salamo Narba.
No.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
He was a legate.
Sarmus. I'm just kidding.
Narmus? No, was it?
It's not Sarmus because he's
Now,
the one that.
Nalthus.
Hold the fuck up.
Hold on.
I got you.
Are we all Googling this?
Was it?
Yeah, we're gonna find out what the name of that
Isn't it Scario?
I got you, Rez, right now. Hold on.
Old Empire.
Oh, Goltus was victorious. He's revealed in Red Country that it is Goltus.
It is Goltus.
So it was Cabrian.
That's it.
Yeah, so Scario and Cabrian, it seems like, killed each other, and then Goltus took
Goltus.
power, or whatever. Or Goltus killed Scario, or whatever. Yeah, Cabrian's like the mad general that like married his own daughters or something.
Right. There you go,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah, but
Really
Goltus
fun.
is like really apparently badass or whatever, right?
go. Something like
Supposedly.
Yeah.
from what we get in secondhand account.
I would love to see inside of the First Law universe to see like, he's backed up by Colonial and Zacchaeus, but it would be so cool if Galtus is like one of the few like extremely capable human beings, like he's like Galacta level, like very intelligent, great military leader, and he's just like an absolute beast. It'd be so cool to have a character like that. That is more menacing, kind of like how they were setting Joppa up to be.
Yeah, I really was hoping we'd see more Chapo. I think that's the biggest wasted potential part. Like that was just a drop plot line. Like you know what I really fucking what really goes up my ass sideways is that
really grinds your gears.
yeah, is that Baez allowed Giselle to just keep throwing. Like they invaded Styria 3 fucking times and lost every single time.
I think that's all Baez.
Yeah, it's
Baez
all-
fucked up. He got overpractical. He hates Monza.
I don't know why he did that. Like it's just so fucking stupid. Like you can't
He's
win, dude.
constantly
Like
fighting these fucking
Well,
wars.
the first time had to have been, a retribution for Duke Orso's death,
sure. Yeah, you
Right.
have to, right?
Right.
You have to.
Perez and everything. But then they kept at it. That's all Baez just, his pride.
Yeah, Baez hates Monza because she defies him. So,
Right.
And Cass. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
And he can't just send Yoru to go take her out because of Cass. So he has to go do it conventionally. But Monza is too plot armored.
Right.
She's a badass.
But that honestly, it kind of brings up a good point. Like, why is she plot armored anymore? Why is she still alive? Unless we're going to get her and Japo and the sort of like anti-Baez coalition that you mentioned when these, new books come out. She's there for a reason.
Well, they can't do another 20-year time jump, right? So, like, what would be interesting to me is if he did 3 standalones, then a trilogy to like set the stage. So you'd have to have one with like Japo and like getting Monza off the board
Totally.
because like they'll all be dead. Like 20 years from now, like Shivers is dead, Glocta's dead, Monza's dead. Like anybody that matters is dead. Like the older generation is gone.
Generation.
Fenrir's dead. Artie's probably really old.
Even if they did another 20-year time jump, though, Monza could still be around. She'd be old as shit.
She'd be in like her 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, but if she's still like, there, like mentally, she could still be trying to call the shots from behind the scenes. We don't really know what that relationship is like between Monza and Japo. And it'd be interesting to see how it would compare to the relationship between Finri and Leo. And if things change, to have another mother and a son. And yeah, maybe Japo does need to get her off the board. Like, who knows? So a standalone for that would be really fun.
Sure.
I just want more Monza. You guys know I want more Monza.
I know. I do too. She's always been a looming shadow.
Yeah.
Now I know Josh hasn't answered us, but I think that is what that was his opinion. Is that he's like, I actually like the Age of Madness more. I think that's why you guys all blocked out your memory. It's too traumatizing. but I remember him saying that, and George being like, "No, I really, really like Age of Madness."
Oh.
I mean, they are just so that the tone is so different in these books. Like, especially with the newer characters. Like, it's just so like it feels really modern the way that these characters think. It doesn't feel at all the way that it did, especially in the first trilogy.
Yeah.
And I think that just because of that, and just because it feels so fresh, and so many new ideas and things, that it keeps itself up just that way. Whereas if you're trying to go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be the same as the first trilogy, you're probably going to be a bit disappointed.
I do feel like maybe I'm wrong in saying this because I don't know a bunch about history in general, but did anyone else feel like the jump to modern times happened really, really fast?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
It did.
unreasonably.
It did, but I don't
Right.
mind that. I don't mind that because it's not real, right? Like there's magic, like so.
It's
So
fantasy.
Baez like having the knowledge of like, I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know.
tough
They
because
were already on the cusp at the end of Last Argument of
With
Kings.
cannons,
They were at the
they were gonna get there.
They were like the only thing they didn't have was factories. So all you had to do is introduce factories, and then you have industrial revolution. Because
Yeah,
they had everything else set up for it.
I can
In
see
the
it as
real
really
world, it didn't
fast.
take too long, did it, for it to go from like, oh, we figured out how to make a water wheel that will turn this thing, and it's like, oh shit, now we can grind this much more flour, and oh shit, now we've got more food, and oh shit, now we don't people don't need to work as much to make food.
I said this to my students on like Friday. I was like, so the Wright brothers had the first powered flight in like, what year was that? 1890 something.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then like less than 20 years later, they were strapping machine guns onto those fuckers and shooting at each other over Europe. Then the Nazis throw a jet on it, and then like 20 years after that, we're in fucking space. Like that.
Yeah,
so it
on the
can
moon.
happen. We're on the moon like 20 years later. So it can happen. But I think too, I've also read Mistborn does that. It jumps, but it's 300 years. So
As
it
far
goes
as
from like
300 years, yeah.
yeah. So you get the 300-year time jump, and all of a sudden, like everybody's got guns and there's cars and trains and stuff. And I think what's good about Age of Madness is they don't have trains yet. Like they don't work. And
They had one that fucking blew up.
They had one that blew up. Maybe it would have worked. I really like Kernsbick. He's a good dude. I like Kernsbick and Mahood. They're like my favorite.
I like how Joe sets up that world building too. Like, there's not really. I mean, the only place that there's industry on that level that you would want a railroad or support a railroad is in Midderland. And Midderland is a fine size, but it's not big enough to be like, we need these railroads,
No.
So it makes sense why it's not,
It's kind of like how that guy Hero of Alexandria developed like not like a steam engine, but like a steam ball, like that could spin.
Right. Yeah.
You guys ever seen that? Yeah. And that was like 300 AD. So like if there was a drive in Egypt to produce something that could do work, like just take that spinning ball and make it do something, like maybe they would have invented the steam engine in like Roman Egypt, but you didn't need to do that because you could just buy a person for that. Like so the drive. So right. So I'd be interested to see. It seems like Baez is going to connect the North with rail. Like, is that what it seems like? Like
there's going to be a big bridge over between England and Midland, and there's going to be a train.
Yeah, it's going to be like the Øresund between Copenhagen and Malmo or something.
Yeah,
half bridge, and then it fucks up and turns into a tunnel. Yeah.
What was that?
Speaking on what you were talking about earlier, Will, like it's true that things get invented, and then until there's actually a need for them, it won't like be used.
It won't take off. Yeah.
What was the name of that fucking guy who basically invented the first mechanical computer, the difference engine?
Is that the Antikythera thing?
No, that's even earlier.
No.
I mean, that's but like, was it Charles Babbage invented basically a mechanical computer in the 1820s?
And nobody needed it.
It was basically just a party trick. It was like everybody looked, this thing can count to 100, and everyone went, "Wow," and that was it.
Yeah,
cool. There was no need for it.
Bring it to the World's Fair and go, "Ooh, nice."
What did Napoleon say? Ability without opportunity is useless.
I don't know, bro. Ask Ridley Scott.
Shut the fuck up! Get out of here, you traitor!
Is Joaquin Phoenix good at playing a 20-year-old Napoleon? Chat, tell us. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna watch it. I kind of hate Ridley Scott. So
yeah, the movie's entertaining, but it also very much bothered me.
Anyways, I am not entertained.
But you know what I find funny about Age of Madness when it comes to the technology, right? The fact that they have like machines, but they haven't got guns yet.
Well, Joe said that he's not going to write guns into the series.
No, I know. I
So
just find it so funny if you look at like what happened in actual real life. Like the Chinese had guns like 1,000 years before, like in like
well,
1,000
They had,
AD, and they
they
had
had
like really basic ones.
well, they had like handheld fireworks and black powder 1,000 years ago. I don't know about guns though.
they didn't have guns. No,
Yeah.
I think the guns came to China afterward. I think they start in like the Middle East. Like I feel like the Ottomans were the first to like fuck around. Like cannons, I think were
Yeah, no,
like
wait,
China.
I've got one
China was
here.
making. You know what
The
China was doing?
Heilongjiang hand cannon dated to
Yeah.
1288.
Yeah. So China was making. I think they synthesized gunpowder for the first time in like 700 or something, and then they were making like mines and bombs out of it. I think that's all they had. They didn't have like projectiles. But then, yeah, 1288 sounds right. But Europe was fucking around with cannons. I remember there was like a Bulgarian prince or something that tried to make like a giant cannon out of wood in like the 1200s, and it blew up and killed like 11 people.
I remember.
And it's like, of course it fucking did. Like you don't make that shit out of wood. But pike and shot, like it's kind of like that was around. They were doing like pike and shot in like the 1400s, and then they switched to all shot. I don't know. Like I listened to a podcast called The Rest Is History. It's two very British dudes, and they're good. And it's Dominic Sandbrook and Tom Holland, not that Tom Holland, and they were talking about how the Spaniards, like when they got to Mexico, they really weren't relying on guns that much. Like it was kind of like a cool shock weapon, but what they really needed was like their steel swords, steel helmets, and like breastplates. And the Aztecs didn't really have anything that could like go up against a steel sword or like pierce a steel breastplate or whatever. They were like, it's like they compared it this way. They're like, it's like the Spanish met like the city of Sumer, like bronze. They stumbled upon a Bronze Age society, and it was
the
just
Aztecs are still running around with like sticks with bits of obsidian stuck to it. Like,
right. But
weapon.
yeah. I mean, they were hyper organized, but they weren't like the Spaniards saw. I remember like one of the people on the crew. I forget who it was. I don't know. They wrote that like when they saw Tenochtitlan for the first time, they were like, we don't have anything this size. There's no city in Spain this size. This makes Seville look like a town. So, but again, the tech was just completely different.
Anyways,
Whew, that was fun.
That was fun. George, do you have the best meme of the week for us?
I saw this one earlier. I thought it was quite funny. It was the bit when Cathal rejects Wes, and he's just like the fucking James Woods Hades. You're just too angry for him, and he's like, "What? How dare you?" That's from what's his name on that? Corporal Tunny. His name's actually Corporal Tunny as well. That's excellent.
That's
one of your boys. Well,
No, I don't. I do not know that man.
That's a new guy. It's a new dude.
It's not
It's
part
his
of your
first-
usual
it's- By
flock.
the looks of things, it's his first post on House of the Meme-maker. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thanks.
oh, we need to be promoting the best for cold meme of the week.
Yeah, we do. I'll do that.
Yep. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So Tunny, if you're out there, you idiot. I'm just kidding. Look at I pinned it. It's on Hot Posts. It's like the first or second thing. Go look for a chapter that's open. I haven't signed George up yet. I forgot to. Oops. So I got to do that. But yeah, we're starting. I think the first one's drop in February, I believe, and then I'm trying to stagger it so we keep semi-pace with the pod. And I think we're wrapping up in like May. It's going to be a long series.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, that is going to
So
be.
we got time.
Mm.
But then I think for the heroes, I'm going to try a different format. So stay tuned.
Ooh.
Sexy.
I'm very much looking forward to that. That's why I wanted 6 of them.
Like a year and a half from now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Will. Appreciate that. Harrison,
Yes.
do you have a community interaction segment?
No.
This is the community interaction segment.
Oh, what a Vim and Brio in that
Will
response.
just did it. Will just did it. All
Okay,
right.
Brie.
So I've got an unpopular opinion
Oh, okay.
that might get me crucified. I think Leo gets entirely too much hate.
Get out.
You're fired. That's it. Kick him out.
I
I'm
actually
cooking-
really
I'm
like
voting
him.
him.
You
I'm
can't,
gonna-
you can't
Bro,
not
what?
like him.
What do you
voting-
mean, bro?
I like him. I actually think he's fine.
What were you gonna say, Stephanie?
I'm gonna side with George on this.
I'm kicking her out too. I'm kicking
Uh,
Go ahead.
George,
No.
go explain yourself.
Yeah. Defend this blasphemy. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead and
I think
cook. Why don't you?
he is definitely like he's quite reprehensible in the way that he behaves, and
In general.
he kind of does. But no, he makes shit decisions based off his emotions, and he never really thinks very far ahead at all until he gets to wisdom of crowds, and then he starts betraying people. But at that point, I think he's really become more like Glockter than we kind of want to admit, and we all love Glockter. So by the end of Wisdom of Crowds, he betrays also, and he stabs Forrest, and he has also hanged. But would anybody else do anything different at that point? Like,
I think you also have to add into the equation that he is, I mean, not to like make this an issue, but it is an issue. He is a severely repressed gay man, and not
Yes.
knowing your own identity and not being able to address that even to yourself, he's going to be stunted in his growth. He's not going to be able to make decisions that a mature or well-adjusted person would make, because he doesn't even know who he is. So how can he know other people and think critically about his relationships with other people? He definitely does things that are awful, but when you get in his head and see things through his eyes, that's a really tough thing.
It's deeply sad. I mean, people always
It
point
is sad.
to
He is sad.
at the
I
end
agree.
of Wisdom of Crowds, when Finri comes in to see the babies and he gets jealous because his mum's paying attention to someone else. I think that's so sad, because you see like how really, like you say, he's repressed, and he's still deep down, he's still just a bit of a child.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Yeah,
follow that up,
It's
George.
sad, it's
Yeah,
sad.
didn't he say?
Do you
Go ahead. Oh, Will.
do you remember when he sees the portrait of Lord Marshal Croy,
Mhm.
and he's like basically looking at the portrait, and he's like, "How the fuck am I ever going to measure up to that?" He's like, it's so interesting. He's got two grandpas. He's got Grandpa Croy and he's got Grandpa Brock. He's got one. Croy has one of the best arcs, in my opinion,
Yep.
in the whole series.
I agree.
Brock is such a fucking slimy worm. And it's so funny that those are his two grandpas.
This is a sham.
Yeah. I'm gonna sell the whole nation out to Gurkle and hope for the best. Hope I don't get eaten. But it is interesting that like Croy's great grandkids, and it's so fucking weird. Croy's great grandkids and Brock's great grandkids are now like the heirs to the throne, like the king basically, and the heir.
Yeah.
What are the kids? Hal and what's the other one's name? Artie.
Yeah. Hal and
Yeah,
Artie?
it is Artie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and already Savine likes Artie way more than she does Hal, right?
Yeah. Well, she describes him as like weak, doesn't she?
Weak, and he cries all the time, and like he struggles to take milk and whatever. Like it's, oh man, she's gonna be a bad mom.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be
Hal.
awesome.
I mean, Hal's
I'll
going to
get
end up being like Leo, exactly.
Hal's gonna be a lot
Nah.
like Leo. Hal's
No,
gonna
I
be a
haven't-
lot like Leo.
I have a feeling I have a feeling he'll be different. I think I don't know. I'm kind of foreseeing an arc with that character, and I don't know. I can totally see that character becoming somebody who starts off as weak and then becomes very cruel, but also like is exactly what is needed in that time. I don't know.
I'm interested to see what Joe does with it, because Savine and Leo are, I mean, based on the info we have, are more than likely going to end up raising another Savine and Leo. But what are the differences in Hal and Artie as they grow up that make them the people, whoever they're going to become? Do we get them, like Hal specifically, becoming cruel, or does he find a way to overcome it in spite of whatever? I mean, it's Joe, so probably not. Or if he does, something bad will happen to him. But I think we're all really interested to see what those kids turn into. With the
And the
parent.
cat's in the cradle with the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. That's what it's gonna be like. My boy is just like me. That's Leo gonna be looking at him like, when Hal says he doesn't have time to play catch or whatever. Not that Leo can because he's only got one leg and one functioning arm, but he can do his best.
No, it'll probably be something to do with the fact that Hal is not loved by either of his parents because they both think he's weak, and he'll have to look for that affection somewhere else. And I don't
His
know
Uncle
how
Orso.
Joe will set that up.
His Uncle Orso will come back.
Oh no!
don't do that. To follow up, George, I think that you're right as well. I mean, Leo is like written wise, especially written wise, he's like
A great
one of
character.
Joe's best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of like how much I like him, I mean,
Piece of shit. Fuck him.
yeah, but like I feel the same. I feel very similar, even though he's a lot like Galacta. I feel similar to how I feel whenever I read Giselle. So like in the first book, it's like, oh, what a twat, like I hate this kid. Oh, disgusting. And then, but like when you reread stuff on Leo, you're like, my God, what an incredible character. And that's all I care about now. It's just how good of a character he's at, other than my initial reaction.
You know what's weird? You know what's weird for me is you bring up Giselle. So you start off reading Giselle and you're like, oh, fuck this guy. And then you finish and you're like, damn, I really kind of like Giselle. I started off reading Leo and I was like, damn, I kind of like Leo. And then by the end, I was like, man, fuck this guy. Like, I'm so done with this dude.
Yeah,
So he's like an anti-Giselle. He's like
he is.
like a reverse.
We should have seen it coming.
I do love that. I love the way it's set up. We're going to talk about when we get to Age of Madness in like a year and a half at this point. But it's that bit right at the beginning after that initial battle, and he's like, "Yeah, they're all triumphant," and they walk into the tent, and it's all like really quiet, and he's like, "Oh, I don't sound anywhere near as impressive in here."
Yep.
That's the last time he's ever self-aware ever again.
Yep, that's it.
No, that's not true.
I'm joking, but
Feels that way.
It does for sure. Did we have another controversial or unpopular opinion?
I mean, do you have any, Jeff?
I don't know. I completely fucking forgot what I said last time. Harrison, do you remember? You're the Adeptus Historical. You're supposed to be keeping these accounts.
Oh, don't put this on me. You're deflecting. I don't think you had any. I think that you were just talking with everybody else's stuff.
I don't really think I have anything controversial, to be honest. No, not the biggest fan of Age of Madness. I think it's the weaker trilogy, but I think that's not controversial, right?
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, like I said before, like his writing, it's gotten better. I just wasn't as enthralled, as engaged. It didn't hit like the first two trilogies did. What else? I don't know. Wearing a Blind can go fuck off.
Hey.
Very controversial.
Yep. Fuck him.
We're the Bly. It's just a
you know
nothing
what?
character. Fuck him.
You know what? He's not, you know what? He was cool. He was a cool side character. All right. But then Reddit got a little antsy. He got a little fun, and he got carried away. So fuck wearing a bled. Fucking bled.
I like Wonderful so much more than wearing a Bly.
Do we
Wonderful
know
is actually an interesting character.
I fucking love Wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful's dope. What were you saying, Stephanie?
I was just going to ask, does anybody know where Bly is?
No one knows what Bly is. That's part of the joke, is that no one
like, where the fuck is that?
He's from the high places, and Bly is like the only town that everybody knows, so they just say he's from Bly.
Yeah. I don't think he's even from Bly. Yeah.
He's not. He's just, they just call him that because it's the only, it's like me being like, it's like if you're from like Maine and you live in like some bumfuck town and you're like, yep, I'm from Portland. And it would be like,
yeah, okay.
Will of Portland, but you live in like, I don't know.
I tell people I live in Tulsa. I don't
you
live
in
Tulsa.
Yeah, you live in like Cornish, Maine or something. No one's going to fucking know where that is.
I still tell people I live in New York, so. I don't.
I do find that funny that in the north, like apart from like Carleon and Frith, all the names are just like kind of vague, like areas. Like, there's a place called Inner Woods, which is literally just in the woods, and up near yours. So it's just like wherever yours is,
Yours, yeah. You know what's weird is we find out where Bethod originated in like Wisdom of Crowds, Karahome. Like we never heard that place
Wait,
ever.
we did?
Yeah, we never hear about that place ever.
Calder retreats back to their original hold, Kara home.
Carl
It's supposedly pretty far up in the
which I bet he did
boondocks.
the same thing when Dow had to go find them in Last Argument of Kings. I bet they retreated to there too, but they never name it.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck. All right.
Those Welshmen.
Bloody Welsh.
Ken Walsh. All right, let's ask Will and Stephanie a couple of trivia questions, so we could taper on down. So, does anyone have any questions to go? I have one.
Go
Go
for it.
Am I gonna ask the both of them, or am I asking somebody specific?
Oh, Will's gonna kick my ass. I haven't read the series in a year. Will's like listening to chapters while he's snowblowing.
Yeah, you can't hear, but I crack my knuckles. So here we go.
In the essence of fairness, we gotta give you guys like 10 seconds each, so you can't like Google it so quick.
Okay. I wasn't Googling.
I'm just making sure. All right. And before they are hanged, when they're in Alcus, the traveling fellowship, Baez says that a certain person in this one building stood to address the Senate, urging caution in the Empire's eastern expansion. Who was it that stood to address the Senate?
Jesus Christ.
Christ.
How the fuck do you want me to know that? It's not.
I'm gonna
Will.
guess Zacharias.
Well,
Go ahead.
you said more obscure answers.
Is it Berturio?
Nope.
Fuck.
Is this for both of us?
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess Zacharias, but I know it's wrong.
Even.
Is it Juvens?
Nope.
Oh.
Is it Stolicus?
Nope.
Fuck.
Hey,
Calica.
Calica.
Oh yeah,
Great.
no.
Is Calica supposed to be the Seneca of the old empire?
No,
The great orator?
No, I think he was he was just
senator?
Like a senator, yeah. He wasn't.
Yeah. Womp womp.
That is the most trivial.
I
Holy
know.
shit.
I know.
That's worse than Jeremiah's.
That's what I was doing. I was spending like 10 minutes like, which one's gonna fucking stump him?
Damn. That stinks. Calica.
Go ahead, Harrison or George, whoever is next.
I don't really have one. I just was going to say, speaking of the old empire,
Ooh.
so Alcus, right? Like, how advanced do we think the old empire was? To what level? Because everyone, like, the notorious thing is like, oh, Rome level, right? Sure, maybe. But like, Alcus is like a whole nother level. Alcus is crazy. It's like massive. And it's got like skyscrapers and shit.
I was just gonna say, I kind of got the impression that it was Rome level, but like not like skyscrapers obviously are a whole different level of like engineering and technology. But if you look at like just various fantasy worlds, like look at like King's Landing, even like they shouldn't have been able to build the Red Keep as high as it was. Like that, it's.
Oh, you mean like architecture fantasy? Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just maybe they found some advancements.
Well, they had the maker.
In order. They had what?
They had the maker. Canadius makes
That's
like the
true.
bridge and all that shit. So imagine like you're at Roman Empire level, but you have this one guy that can pull up and just shit out a bridge. That will literally never rust, never decay. He just can just show up and whip out a bridge. I want to know. I'm sorry to go on an aside here, but where the fuck are the dragon people? They're not all dead. What's the dragon? What is it supposed to do? Does it eat gold? Or are they just feeding it? Are they just feeding it gold and it's never going to wake up? What does it do?
It was about to wake up, wasn't it, though?
No, it fucking wasn't. I think
there was like steam coming out of it, and there was like, something's gonna happen.
Because they were in the middle, like they were in the belly of a mountainous volcano or something. It's hot everywhere. Of course, there's steam coming out the metal. Come on.
Yeah, breathing those fumes in can't be good either. Like
I'm telling you, I think that the dragon was Canadius's. So
pet.
He made the Shanka to fight the Magi to defend himself, right? Well, he also sent away all of his people away from the House of the Maker. He sent them far away with materials and knowledge to continue his work. Why? Because like it's like a Hail Mary. Like he had a plan. It's like maybe he thought the dragon be done, or he thought he had more time before the Magi showed up. And so he sent them away to continue the work. what the fuck does... You're right. What the fuck does the dragon do? I have a feeling it has something to do with absolute devastation.
Well, does Baez know about it?
I don't think he does.
Nah, I doubt it.
Does Zacharias or Conneal know about it? Like, there's no fucking way they know about it.
No, I don't think
No.
anybody knows about it. I have a feeling that dragon may be a Deus Ex Machina.
Well, people think that the dragon people are just a tribe of ghosts, right?
Right.
Like, that's kind of the headcanon for everybody. They're like, oh, they're just
Right.
another tribe of ghosts. And they're
Mhm.
fucking not. They're absolutely not.
They don't just have the dragon, right? It shows to you that the Maker did pass on his work. Those are his apprentices.
They have a
They
ton
can
of
make
shit.
weapons and armor
Yeah.
that are formidable. So it's like the question is who is going to get that knowledge and who's going to use it?
Yeah, but all that magic and power goes away when you fire a fucking cannon at it. Boom.
Maybe not. We
Casca's
haven't
just
seen.
like Casca's like, we're getting snuck up on. Blow the cannons. Send them.
I don't know. We haven't seen what happens like with what happens like what if the dragon people innovate?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they had sent warriors down into the deep parts of the area to go fight Shanka when Casca showed up and genocided them. So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are people left. There are people left.
Yeah.
I
It
wonder.
would be a shame if they never came up again. But then
Stop
that would
it.
be so Joe, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Spirit.
It would. Spirits. Yeah.
Bye. It's like Logan spitting fire. Well, happened one time. Don't worry about it, guys. Bye. George, do you have a question before we wrap up?
All right, I've got one. So we know that Baez has loaded like old alter egos, but do you know which ones they are?
I do. Stephanie, you want to give it a shot?
I do not know.
So one is Archlector Zoller, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And the other one is he's a Lord Treasurer, I think, or is he a Lord?
Okay.
Fuck. God damn it. It's right there, but I'm not gonna get it.
You know why he did so well last time? It's because he came back. He just spent all day with his kids and stuff, and like those kids at school are like always keeping on his feet. That's why he's so quick.
Yeah.
Today he's a zombie. He woke up.
So I've been
slow and
watching
slow,
I've been
enjoying
watching my
his
little
dog.
dumbass dog play in the snow for the first time.
Oh.
Well, he's a lovable dumbass. He's cute. I don't know. Tell me, what's his name?
I don't know.
You don't know?
The one that he's definitely one of those. He's definitely like a Lord Treasurer or something like that.
Lord Chancellor.
I was always Lord Chancellor. Was it?
Lord
He also-
Chancellor, and he's got one of those fucking German ass names that they tend to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
forget.
But I was thinking as well, is he one of the authors that Monza talks about? I keep thinking, I don't know why, and I don't know if they have any evidence for it, but he might be either Vittorio or Bialeveld.
Bialeveld. He's Bialeveld.
Beelzebub.
He's
Yes.
Bialeveld,
That's
He's
isn't
it.
he?
Bialeveld. He is. He is.
Yep.
There it is. There's that German name I was talking about. Boom.
Beowulf sounding as name.
Beowulf sounded bitch.
How do we know that Baez is Bialeveld? That's news. to me.
Because it's described. I forgot. Was it in the?
Is that in Blade itself?
Is it the blade itself, or is it before they're hanged, where it's kind of
He
like?
says that he's come back from time to time and come in and like helped on the council under aliases, and that's one of the ones I think he says.
Yeah.
Oh, fun! It's time to
Yeah.
do another.
Oh
reread,
yeah.
I think.
It's time to do a what?
I think it's time for me to do another reread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking up Elderlings in the next week, and then I need to
Ooh.
read the First Law. It's been too long.
Wait, where are you in Realm of the Elderlings?
Fool's Quest.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that far. I only read Live Ship, and then I stopped because I just everything hurts.
It hurt.
No, I
Live
do.
Super different from the others. Parts of your shot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for sure, but it's Live Ship is brutal in a different way than the rest of
It's
the.
so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. Try Farseer. See if you like it.
I did Farseer.
Oh, you did. Oh, I thought you said
Yeah,
you
I did Farseer. I did Farseer, then Live Ship, and then I quit.
Live Ship. Tawny Man is most people's favorite, so
Yeah,
could be
I'll
worth
have to come
it.
back.
I'm loving this final trilogy, though. I'm so into it. I was crying this morning. I was like eating my
Yeah,
eggs.
dude. Yeah, and that's the
sobbing.
thing. How much do I want to cry? How much are you gonna make me cry?
It's too much.
God.
I mean, I only got through the first 3, and I was like, "Oh, this is just too much. Like, she's just
Dude,
too
it's-
sad."
Yeah, the third book goes fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one though. But I didn't like Assassin's Quest.
That's the third one, right?
Yeah, it's the third one. I loved the first 2. I'm in the minority. I thought Assassin's Apprentice was the best of the 3, but most people like Royal Assassin, which is the
Yeah,
second one.
Royal Assassin's my favorite,
Yeah.
and
That was
I agree with you.
It's all the important relationships, but I don't want to spoil this for Jeff because I've actually
No.
given him my copy of Assassin's Apprentice, and one day he'll read it. But
Say no more.
you know what I'm talking about. Like, I sobbed
Yeah,
so many times.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
if
do.
you're gonna cry so hard when you get to that point that they're talking about this book I know nothing about.
I have Jeff reading Prince of Nothing right now, but when it's done, I'll push you toward Elderling stuff.
Don't get me started on Prince of Nothing right now.
He calls me like 5 times a day. Like, wait, what's happened?
This guy takes Tolkien's like language, like how like the Dunedain and all that stuff, fucking amps it up to 2000. I'm like, these consonants are not supposed to be next to each other like this. What the fuck is this? Can't even pronounce this shit. Don't even get me started. Don't even. Toning it down. Let's wind down, folks.
He loves it.
I am
Put
enthralled.
off the gas pedal.
I am enthralled. I'm just
Every day I'm like, don't read it if you don't like it. And he's like, no, I like it. And then he calls me back 10 minutes later. He's read like 12 chapters. You don't have to do this.
That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you all know, this is a passion project for the 3 of us, and your support really does mean a lot.
Join us next week as we start Best Served Cold with Benno Mercado Saves a Life and Land of Opportunity.
And make sure you follow us on all of our social media to keep up with what we're getting on with. And we have a website. It's circleoftheworld.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or whatever podcast app you use. And please make sure to rate and review. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
You look like the very goddess of war.